The Dreamcast. An unfortunate commercial failure. This is due to several reasons that I won't really be getting into, but just because a console failed commercially doesn't mean it's bad. By all means, it's a fantastic console. It just didn't do super well in terms of sales. And when a console doesn't sell, games with it don't sell too well either. So I think it'd be kind of cool to take a look at some of the games that have been forgotten on the Dreamcast, ones you don't normally hear about. So without further ado, let's just get in it, I guess.
Trigger.
I admit, the first time I saw this game, I thought it was a Counter-Strike clone on the Dreamcast. At least that's what I got from just seeing screenshots of it. And I was ready for that, nothing wrong with that at all. But instead, it's more of a fast-paced arena shooter. The complete opposite of Counter-Strike. And that's also fine, I like a good arena shooter. Especially a fast-paced one. But what makes it so fast-paced? Well, the maps. The maps are really small. These are the smallest maps I've ever seen in a game. I don't know the reason why, maybe it was just purely design. My money's on the strange control system, at least I think it's strange. I haven't played many arena shooters on the Dreamcast. You use the triggers to turn left and right, and the D-pad to move. Maybe they thought using the stick was too awkward, I don't know. You still can use the stick. You can use it to temporarily look up and down, left and right. You know, the usual directions you'd get from a joystick. However, I said it's temporary because the second you move, it reverts back to the center of the screen. I haven't gotten much use out of this. But what about the other controls? You can hit Y in the Dreamcast controller to go first person or third person. There's no clear advantage to using either, it's just preference it seems. I personally switch back and forth. You can also use X to change weapons. In terms of weapons, you have a bullet-based weapon, a grenade, and a rocket launcher. A rocket launcher being a very loose term, it considers a sniper rifle to be one. And you can hit A to shoot them, and hitting B will also allow you to jump. Simple game stuff, nothing too crazy in terms of controls. Enough about controls, how's the game play? Well, there's 4 modes, really only 2 though, but I'll get into that later. The first one I'll bring up is the one you've been seeing, it's also the most interesting one. It's just simply titled Versus Mode. In this mode you fight either 3 other players or 3 other bots in either a team deathmatch or a free-for-all type mode. Honestly, that's it pretty much. You can change a few little options here and there to make it slightly different, but it doesn't change a whole lot. Sure, it's simple, but it's actually fun. It's mindless fun, there's no real strategy to this game. You just kinda see someone and shoot them until they die. No advanced tricks or anything. I will say some guns are very obviously better than others, but that's just how any arena shooter is. Then there's the other 2 modes, arcade mode and mission mode. These might as well just be the same thing. In these modes you either collect a certain number of coins within a time limit, or kill a certain number of enemies within a time limit. In my short time playing both these modes, it's pretty much just been those 2 things. Maybe the more you play, the more advanced it gets, I don't know. I honestly don't have any desire to play these modes because they're boring. Versus mode is very obviously the highlight of the game, with mission mode and arcade mode very obviously being some sort of afterthought and not the main focus. There's also network mode, which, as you imagine, can't really be accessed anymore. I have no idea if this was ever super popular at all. I would like to imagine it was somewhat popular at some point in time, but like I said, I don't know. Now this is a fun game if you're looking for just a mindless basic arena shooter. But if you want anything more than that, you're gonna be really disappointed. Wild Metal is a game by DMA Designs, published by Rockstar. Yes, that Rockstar, the Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead one. Wild Metal is a pretty far cry from either of those games though. Wild Metal is well, I'll just show you here. Upon starting Wild Metal, you're not given much. Just the logo and being told press start to start. If you wait around long enough, a gameplay demo will start, but you don't really need that because you know you're about to already play the game. When you start a new game, you're given a selection of tanks to choose from. Each one looks pretty different from the last. I'll choose this ball one for now, it looks kinda funny. After that, you're just thrown into it. No tutorial, no objective, just thrown to the wolves. It doesn't even tell you how to play. All I can really do is just roll around, I suppose. My first guess is that it's like every other game, you just gotta beat the level somehow. So I guess I'll go to the end. I tried that, but I didn't make it far. It turns out this ball tank is not very good. I'm actually fighting with the game to make it move. So I think I'm gonna start a new game with a new tank. I'll go cheetah this time. I don't know, that seems interesting. Oh yeah, this is much better. I still don't really know what to do though, so I'll continue with my theory. Well, I eventually make it to the end of the level, except there is no end, it just loops back again in a giant circle. So that's not what I'm supposed to do. I don't have the manual on hand, but I figured that would tell me what to do, at least I hope so. And yeah, it does. I have a digital version of the manual here. Here it is, single player. Collect and store 1 power core of each color to complete the level. That seems easy enough, I suppose. I unfortunately have to start a new game because I didn't save with the cheetah tank. But this is a good thing, so it lets us try out one of the other tanks. So the power cores are just in random places. And you don't know where one is until you're practically almost on top of it, so you just gotta drive around the entire map looking for it. It's not like there's not any hazards though, there are, quote, enemies on the map. They don't really seem to do anything. They drive around the map, and if you get close to them they'll attack, but you can actually just go around them pretty effortlessly. The only ones that seem to cause any trouble are these giant towers with turrets on top of them. These ones are pretty good at shooting you on sight, but I've yet to have one kill me. But there's not much to this level, just go around the map in a circle collecting all the little cores. Once you're done, you head to this thing and it teleports you away to the next level. And the next level, it's more of the same. Collect core, and that's really about it, because you don't really have to fight anything. In my time playing this, I've found that this is a really tedious game. Maybe it gets better as it goes on? We'll have to see. Well, I have since played more of this game, and I don't think it really gets any better. Admittedly, I didn't play much more, but I did play more. This game just isn't very fun to play. It'd be a little more interesting if the enemies attacked you, and granted they do, if you just sit there. But like I said earlier, you can just drive around them, so why even bother attacking them? It's also worth pointing out that this is a port of a PC game. The PC version is called Wild Metal Country, while the Dreamcast version is just called Wild Metal. I don't know how different they are, I don't know if the AI is better on the PC version or not, and I don't know if I care enough to find out. This isn't really a game I can recommend unless you're just morbidly curious. Even then, I feel like there's better things for you to be doing. Honorable mentions. Marionette Handler. I had every intention of covering this game, as I hadn't seen much on it. But there's problems immediately when you start the game up. The main one being that there's no text anywhere on the screen. It's an emulation bug. I can get to the actual game through trial and error of all the buttons, but that's not very fun, so I figured I'd just save this one for another time. If one day I ever do figure out why the text isn't showing up, expect it on the channel. Whenever that is. Well, that's about it for this video. If you liked what you saw, consider giving this video a like, maybe even subscribing if you'd like to see more of it. And if you have an obscure video game that you'd like me to talk about or at least look at, leave a comment down below, I'd love to check it out. But that's about it for me for right now. See you in the next one.